business of your own?
No, no, I'm just super curious about the AI space and exactly how it says, like, how you that tool.
Get the mental model to grok the
Yeah.
whole thing? Yeah, totally. Well, this is a taste of it. So in that mental model, we cover why, which is vision, mission, and values, and then we cover when, which is your strategic roadmap, and then we cover the org chart, which is all the departments, who's holding every piece of the puzzle. But all I'm going to really talk about is the bottom layer of it, which is what is your customer journey, the process by which people find you. So your customer journey, as you're an entrepreneur developing your customer journey, I apologize, I was at a Kygo concert last night, lost my voice. Had a lot of fun, put my wife on my shoulders, and did the whole thing. As you're an entrepreneur, you're going to want to build from back to front. So you're going to build your offer. And your offer is what you're offering for money to help people. And some of this is going to sound like super basic. We'll just start with the basic and then just kind of incrementally add complexity so that everybody stays with you. So, for example, right now, what is like the offer that you're selling right now? How much does it cost? What do they get?
It's a couple, it's two different tiers. The biggest one is a high ticket offer. It's a program.
Great.
Full price is $27.50.
Great. Cool. So I'll do 3 stacks of offers because there's typically what's called a value ladder to an offer tier. So lowest is how much?
Lowest is $115 an hour.
$115 an hour, and the highest one's $27. Cool. So that's like a value ladder. Sometimes people come in for a taste and then they come back for more. Sometimes people come in for the whole thing, but you have kind of like a pricing layout. One other example. What do you offer?
Akashic Records readings.
Akashic Records readings, very cool. Awesome. So probably a similar situation here where they could start for a little bit or they could pay for a little more, is that right?
Well, I have some set pricing and offerings on like the number of questions they might ask and then number of readings.
Nice.
But yeah, what exactly they want.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that I'm going to kind of keep going and then come back to this. So that's the offer. When it comes to your offer, there's 2 ways to sell an offer, 2 mechanisms by which to sell an offer. And this is your purchase, actually. I'm going to erase offer, put that a little higher, just to kind of build out this framework here. So we'll call this sale. And so, sales process, there's only 2 ways to do it. It's either direct purchase. It's either how about a different color? Favorite teacher was my calculus teacher. She always used different colors, so creative. So the sales process is where money actually comes in. Why don't we do that in 3? So your sale is either a direct purchase, done through a sales page where people just find you online, buy your thing, and then they get the offer delivered either by you or by your online system if you have an online course, online program, software, whatever your mechanism. Or the offer mechanism is a sales call. I accidentally made that a cash sign, but that's okay. So a sales call. So does anybody here accept payment on a sales page yet? Or is it just through sales calls that you accept payment for your offer? All sales conversations? Through Calendly, they book the sales call, and the purchase decision happens on the sales call, and you have to pay some other way, right?
No, they
Oh, they pay through Calendly. Nice. Okay, cool. So that's a direct purchase version. So they're actually paying you for the session. The session is delivered through Calendly. Cool. Or the other way, they book for free and then on the call they go.
That's what I do is I'll book and then they'll pay me after they receive it.
Cool.
On a Venmo or something.
Nice. Cool. So we're going to come back to this in a moment. I'm going to borrow this line as a separator, and then we're going to go to the nurture. So now we're starting to talk about leverage, how we actually create leverage at scale, because you may have heard this phrase, may not. Trust is the currency of the digital economy. And so if you want to scale beyond yourself, you need to build about trust at scale. But if your only way to build trust is to be in person at an event, be in person in community, be the person on the phone, you're going to be limited by the number of hours in the day because it's all you building that trust, giving the sales presentation over and over and over again, and just explaining what you do to people. It will consistently work for this initial step of your business, but it'll never be the way that you get to where you're going in your business. To do that, you need leverage. So this is called nurturing. So the nurture process can be a sales call. Now that's less scalable, of course. Could be a voice bot. Could be a webinar. Could be email follow-up. Could be there's a handful more. These are the ones that we most focus on in our business. And you may have heard, you may have not heard, growthmastery.ai, I'll just write down the URL here for you to check out another time, is I'm the CEO and founder of growthmastery.ai. I've been working for a couple of years with my technical founder integrator solution, where you talk to an AI voice bot and the system builds your customized webinar funnel for your business with either a direct purchase page or a sales call, depending on the type of offer that you put into the system that you're selling. Designed entirely for entrepreneurs like you guys that want to scale through these initial steps and into this next step. Generation, so that you can advertise. And I don't have a big enough whiteboard, but this is content. So let me just show there's a show of hands. How are you guys feeling about your business? Do you feel like you're stuck at the revenue level you're at? Or do you feel like you can easily scale? Words in your mouth. I just want to get a sense of I guess why did you want to come to this business? What would automating it with AI mean to you?
For me, I'm scared about the first half, making ads, all of that stuff, social media,
Yeah.
and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the next logical step for me to grow.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that makes sense. It's very, very common too. Yes.
For me, I think I'm right now it's more the nurture medium stage.
Okay.
Gotten pretty okay with the sales and offerings. But yeah, for me personally, if there's any way, systems, if I can just nurture relationships through automation would be awesome. Because right now it's just been so much direct messaging people.
Direct message follow-up. Yeah, it's exhausting. It's always very new.
Discovery calls, the sales calls,
The whole thing. Yeah. So there's a lot of energy right here. Let me just write in lead generation here. So, for example, does anybody have what's called a lead magnet? Could be an ebook, could be a free course, could be your discovery call is a lead magnet. Are there any versions of lead magnets you guys are using? How does somebody raise their hand? Another way to say this is lead generation is the process of taking somebody from a hand down to a hand up. Sales is the process of taking somebody from a hand up to a handshake. So they're oh, I want that. Yep, deal. So that's the framework to keep in your mind. So how do you guys currently generate leads? Just like you mentioned, you go to events, people hear about you and get informed about what you do. You mentioned the same thing. And maybe some organic posts.
We've got a monthly group meeting, and in order to get the link for it, you have to sign up to the full email subscription list. But that's
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the closest thing I've got to that.
Cool. A monthly meeting,
Yeah.
which is free.
Yeah, free, but you have to
Get on your email
be
list.
on the full email subscription list to get everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. That's an extra layer of sophistication you added. That's awesome. So we'll add that free. Free membership. I'll just duplicate the word free. Membership course, call, session, ebook, which more and more are becoming less valuable lead magnets because everybody gets an ebook with every prompt they put in ChatGPT. So yeah, that's another thing to keep in mind here is that a lot of what has been the traditional approach to everything is slowly becoming not the approach anymore because of just the entire shift of value perception that everybody has as they can have ChatGPT give them content instantaneously. In fact, a lot of online courses are starting to, like Coursera's having a lot of trouble with course platform, are starting to experience a decline in people purchasing online courses because the value of pre-recorded content is trending towards zero as AI is giving everybody instantaneous content. So something to keep in mind is now in the age of AI, the ability to write software. So if you think about an online course is, I will give you information, you put it into your brain, and then you send it through all of your emotions that are in the way, and then maybe you put it into your calendar to actually do and follow up all of the things I told you in your online course to do, and then you end up with a 7% completion success rate of most online courses because online courses fall that huge chain. Getting humans to act is the hardest part of any system. So online courses are being innovated upon as people are like, oh, how do I do such and such? ChatGPT, get insight. That's not all the way to assisted execution though, because now there is a world where the ability to write and create fully functional software platforms with a prompt in AI platforms, which is a feature we're adding into growthmastery.ai probably next year, is if you think about what a software is or a SaaS solution, if you're offering somebody something as an online course and you upgrade that concept to a software solution, then that's a software as a service. It's an electronic version of you delivering the service, guiding people through that process. So something to keep in mind as you keep networking with people and somebody says they're in AI, they're in tech, they're a developer, whatever, consider collaborating with them on turning whatever you're doing. If you're wanting to scale outside of one-on-one services or memberships of communities will always be valuable because humans will always want to connect with humans. But if you're seeking to give people results at scale, in order to stay competitive over the next 24 months, you need to have a strategy in place to start moving towards a software version of delivering your offering, because just the reality is pre-recorded content is becoming less valuable. We've lived this. The reason that I know about webinar funnels, and I'll get into this, is because Kelly and I are founders of New Earth Development, a regenerative real estate development company. And in 2023, we launched our online course called the Regenerative Development Foundations Program, helping founders of regenerative land projects get investor ready with pitch deck, financial model, and business plan. Everything they need to have their investor presentation to raise funding. Launched in April 2023, made $20K on our first launch and generated over $200,000 worth of total passive income online program sales over the next 18 months. And then in the Q2, second quarter of this year, we started to see a massive drop in conversions. We're in the funnel, like that every step of the funnel. And as we really figured out and deduced it and started talking to our email list a little bit, we realized that everybody was asking ChatGPT, instead of buying our online program for $2,000, they're like, I don't know. And everybody is always, as they're sitting on this purchase page, deciding whether or not to buy your thing, they're thinking do I really need this? What are my alternatives? How bad do I need this? Is there urgency? All of those things come to their mind, and as they think about alternatives, and ChatGPT's in their mind, if what you offer can be done by ChatGPT in their mind, equally or better, they're not going to buy the thing. So it's the challenging reality we all find ourselves in. AI is beautiful, and AI also automates out a lot of the things that used to be the way to generate passive income and do really well online. So things to keep in mind, things to keep in front of you, stay ahead of the curve on, for sure. So free membership, course, call, session, ebook, those kind of things are lead generation. We still like webinar. And in fact, growthmastery.ai is our software solution where, again, you talk to our AI bot called we named her Genie. We named her Genie arbitrarily. She asks 30 pre-recorded questions or preset questions that she's configured to ask, which is your ideal client, your challenges the customer faces, what do you offer, what's your different sets of offers, like everything that any agency that you pay 30 grand would ask you. She goes and asks all those questions in the intake conversation, takes 60 minutes. The transcript of that conversation gets piped in to build your webinar deck and your sales page and presents your offer in the webinar deck as well as your landing page. Accepts your email and the room, it's getting a little messy, the room that they watch. The room they watch the webinar in and all of your email follow-up sequences. All being built
you can are you doing the yoga?
in an automated evergreen webinar funnel system. So everything you guys have been talking about, like, I need to do this stuff. And again, anybody who's just joining, we build funnels. We're talking about the framework. Before we automate with AI, you need to understand the framework of what your business is, what are the stages of the customer journey. And as an entrepreneur, your job is to strategically build back to front. Start with the offer, go to the sales process, you think through what is your offering, low ticket offer, medium ticket offer, high ticket offer. And then you work backwards, the sales process, here's your direct purchase sales page. If your offer is less than about $300, people will buy on their own on a direct purchase page if the value proposition is strong enough. Remember what I said, that if they can get it on ChatGPT by themselves, the value proposition is likely not strong enough. And then if it's over $300, unless you have your systems totally dialed, you're probably going to want to be on a sales call, maybe, greater than $300, 300 to 997. So that kind of price range. You want to start thinking about in the beginning where you guys sound like you're at, get on sales calls to sell those things, but set up your sales calls so that your calendar is full without you working on constantly filling your calendar, with having a system that generates leads and nurtures leads on autopilot. And you could do that the way that the lady who just went to yoga was talking about. She has a free membership that you could do that. Every month you're going to get on a conversation and talk to people and present value, and you're nurturing your leads and you're providing answers to their questions and context about their problem. That's really what the nurture process is that people don't know what they don't know about what they're actually stuck in. So you want to teach them, have education-based marketing that is teaching them about their situation. The delivery vehicle of that teaching can be in a sales call, in a voice bot, in a webinar, in an email follow-up, or any combination of all of these. So your landing page, offering whatever it's offering. We do webinars very religiously just because they're consistent. You can watch how long they're in the webinar window. You can send follow-up emails. Our system sends follow-up emails proportional to how much webinar they watch. For example, if you're on a sales call with somebody and they have a conversation with you for 10 minutes and then they have to go, and like you just got through, hey, how are you? I'm from Cleveland, where are you from? And you didn't get to like what you do or even how you got to know how to offer what you do, you would follow up with that person very differently than if somebody was on the entire sales call and you said like, yeah, this is what I do. It's body work for this many minutes and this many hours and it costs this much. So in the same way, we want the digital environment at scale to model the hyper-personalization that we would have as high-touch point, one-on-one conversations. So as we move backwards from lead generation, let's find another color. How about this one? Great. Advertising comes in many different formats. So let's just start writing them out. There's referrals. Anybody else think of any more? I've got them all in my head, but I just want to.
Pay-per-click.
Ads.
Pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click ads, great.
This is the AI workshop?
Yes, sir. Hey, brother. Good to see you, John.
How are you?
What's that? Yeah, referrals. Oh, yeah, referrals / word of mouth. Gotta love that WOM.
Organic social content.
Yes, organic.
Affiliates.
Affiliates, yeah. So referrals are kind of the ones that kind of bump into you. Hey, there's this guy. Affiliates is when you have a strategy to actually go after. Like we have a policy to offer 25% for a lead that comes in, so I'll write that down as something different. John happens to be a genius at that.
Thank you.
He's the old OG in the room. I'll give you the whiteboard in a
You
minute.
guys are pretty good at affiliate marketing too.
Affiliates. Anybody have any others that come to mind?
Paid ads?
Yeah, it's pay-per-click ads. You could have press releases.
Podcast interviews.
Oh yeah, podcasts.
Those are great.
Podcasts like yours. Whoops, that's a really good mess. Like your own podcast. And then there's also other people's podcasts. There you go.
With what? Mountain. Like Ryan Gosselin started some partner for Mountain. It's like really easy to bid and buy ads on TV through this platform.
Great. Let's go.
Oh, classic guerrilla like flyers and banners,
Right on.
and posters. Fuck yeah, with rollerblades.
Amazing. Cool. Yeah, if we sat and really thought about it, we'd probably fill out a few more here. But you can see that the way to create awareness for what it is you do and offer these people a lead magnet, which could be, as we said, for membership, course, call, session, ebook, webinar, and the list goes on. Whatever you're offering them for free, to take them from a hand down to a hand up, basically an eyeball to a I want this. Get them on an email list to follow up with them, to nurture them via either a sales call, voice bot, webinar, email follow-up sequence, however you want to create that conversation at scale. This doesn't have to be you. It could be another person on the sales call on your team, for example. And then that driving to a sales process, either direct purchase or sales call, a function of the price point, and then leading into your offer ladder. And of course, there's more automation that comes here. And the bulk of your whole business is actually this, which is delivering the thing and being good at helping people. So like, that's where most people live, and that's good. And you just don't scale out of that until you know the front end customer acquisition, client acquisition process going on here. And then when you know all of this, then you finally are in a strategic place to put thought and, did you want a seat, brother? We got this chair.
Okay.
You sure?
Thanks for looking out for that.
Then you're finally in a position to be able to put the proper amount of resources into content creation. Content creation in the form of not just walking around making a video, that's content creation, but if you want to really put energy into a professional version of that, that looks like booking studio time or creating a studio at home, figuring out the right microphone equipment, having a team that can post-produce it, meaning edit it, and really having an engine of a system that this happens and this happens and this happens to this piece of content. And when that content is complete, then it goes into advertising channel. You don't want to start with all of these. We say we want to start with, okay, we're going to start with organic social media, right? Until we nail it, until we have predictability that this system of, let's do another color just for continuing the progress we're having. Your content creation process is pre-production, planning what it is you're going to say. You can only do this if you know who your customer is and what you're offering them, and then you can work backwards to make the pre-production process into the advertising channel, offering the lead magnet, creating the nurture conversation, and selling the thing. Pre-production, production, actually sitting in the studio and talking to the camera, or writing the post. Post-production is the editing process, tweaking out the ums and ahs, getting it to something that is, maybe you're filming for an hour at once because it's a podcast interview that you're hosting, either just you or with somebody else, and then you're chopping it up into 17 different little clips that go out. So this is the entire system. This is a strategic overview, I would say, of the entire system. It's important to have that as a mental model as you then start to say, okay, what are the things that I need to do in my business next? And in order for me to have the time in the calendar to do that, and the cash in my bank account to create time in the calendar to do that, what am I already doing? So let me actually just flip this around for a second. What am I already doing in my business that I can actually buy back my time, even if you're not making a shitload of money right now, you could buy back your time for the lowest dollar per hour tasks that are already eating up your schedule. Because the reality is everything I wrote on the other side of that board takes time and energy. Like even our software solution, growthmastery.ai, makes it so much faster and easier, and it'll take at least an afternoon of your time. And to carve that out, you're going to need to know, where am I going to have the bandwidth freed up? So what you want to do is just write this for for context, in case anyone want to write that down. What you want to do is look at your total revenue over the last 12 months. So step one, $12-month revenue. Okay? So once you get that number, I won't have to ask you guys right now. Just have it in your mind. Once you have that number, then step two, divide by hours worked. When you divide by hours worked, you will end with, this isn't dollar, divided by hours is $1 per hour that you have had your effective hourly rate over the last 12 months. So if you don't make any more money per, I know it's a fun idea. If you don't make any more dollars per hour, meaning if you don't grow your business, don't become more valuable in the marketplace, you just keep offering what you've been offering, and all you do is what you've been doing for 12 months, which is a safe assumption. You're going to do better than that. But if you only did that, you'll see maybe you made 80K, maybe you made 400K, who knows what you made. But let's just, for ease of numbers, let's just call it 80K, 100K. And the hours worked, if there's 50, let's call it 50 hours in a week. So we have I'll get a calculator right here. 50 weeks of a year.
I like how you started with 50 hours instead of 40.
Yeah. 50 weeks a year, right? So you got 50 weeks times 5 days a week, right? Times, maybe I'm doing this backwards.
40 times 50, 5 times 4
always
equals
the math.
20, that's 200 or something, or 2,000, sorry.
Give me units, 2,000 watts.
2,000 hours worked a year.
Thank you, 2,000 hours a year. Okay, 2,000. So then 100K divided by 2,000, is that $50 an hour?
Sure.
Yeah. Cool. So you're effective. Just $50.
But are you assuming that's the 100K's take home? Because what about expenses versus profit?
Right, yeah, that should be profit, good point. Profit to take home. Actually, in the case where you're the CEO of the business, which everybody here is like owning their own business, right? So in that case, your time is the most valuable thing in the company. So the top line revenue is what is being impacted by what you choose to do with your time. So I think it's actually useful to call it revenue just for this sake. It's not what you're taking home, but it's what the business
It's what you produce.
Yeah, it's what you're producing. There it is. So let's actually keep it a revenue. So that revenue generated, you generate $50 for every hour that you're doing the thing that you're focused on doing for your business. So that if you are doing anything that you could outsource to either AI or non-AI system or human being on Upwork in the Philippines or wherever they are for less than $50, if you're doing anything that you could outsource for less than $50, you are losing money for your business. It's like a really helpful framework to like, boom, boom, boom. There it is. There's the clarity. So you got your effective hourly rate. Now you look at how can I buy question you want to keep asking yourself. How can you buy back your time so that you can spend that time you bought doing more of these things? And building these systems, getting on more sales calls to sell your highest ticket things, building these nurture systems so that you have an engine that doesn't depend on you to always start the conversation from scratch on a sales call. Because typical sales calls, when somebody comes in as a tire kicker, you have to present who you are and what you do, nurture them, ask them a shitload of questions about them, and give the same pitch that you've given 10,000 times fucking again. Burn yourself out in that process, and then maybe they buy, maybe you don't, and you spend all of that time and energy not serving customers, not getting better at the thing you're actually doing, and slowly becoming obsolete because the whole marketplace is evolving beyond what you're doing. So you actually must, some people say grow or die. It's a harsh way to say what is kind of true, because if you're not keeping up with the growth of the marketplace, what we talked about a moment ago, the value of pre-recorded online courses is trending towards zero because we got, our course actually is getting automated out by AI. The value of lots of things are trending towards zero because we're in an abundant world. AI is making everything, all these converging technologies are making everything like super, super accessible, cheaper than ever, faster than ever, and we need to make sure that we're always looking at this question. So having a conversation partner with ChatGPT or whatever AI model you like to use, and consistently using these frameworks to make sure that you are, looks like we got 15 minutes, but making sure that you are constantly freeing up as much time as you can by looking at the next piece right here.
Take care, brother.
And that is your time audit. So a time audit is when you look back through the last 2 weeks. You look back through the last 2 weeks on your calendar. And you actually run through, hey, I did this chunk of time was customer support. Okay? How much would it cost for me to get and train a customer support person? You go on Upwork. And you do a talent search. You just say customer support rep. Whatever is the thing that you've been doing on your calendar that, here are the two pieces I actually meant to write. Over the last 2 weeks on your calendar, you mark things based on whether they are low or high energy. Meaning, something that's low energy is like, fuck, I gotta do it. I don't want to do it. Like, I gotta write this email follow-up to this customer to answer this question. Maybe you love that, maybe you don't. Everybody's different here. It's low or high energy. It's $1 sign through $3 or $4 signs, right? There's some things on the calendar that generate revenue, obviously, like being on a sales call and closing a sales conversation, or being on a webinar and closing many people at a time, or writing one ad that is then going to, over its lifetime, generate $200,000 for you. Those are really high leverage activities because they're customer facing and they're driving customers through this process. Anything that drives a customer this way on this process is a very high leverage activity that you want to hang on to as the founder because you're the person that can present the value proposition, speak to the customer, be the value better than anybody else for at least the first 5 years of your business. So that is how you audit your time. You want to then identify the things that are the low energy and the low dollar per hour tasks. All the admin stuff, customer support, customer service, all of the schedule back and forth scheduling of does this time work? No. How about that time? No. How about all that kind of stuff done by an admin, an executive assistant. What else do we have our executive assistant do that's super valuable? I mean, lots, just like all these little things.
yeah.
You just come up with all these little things, and you eventually start to like evolve your mindset. Yeah, little spreadsheet touch-ups, like accounting, like bookkeeping, that kind of stuff. And so as you recognize that, then you start to look on Upwork And you have to, what starts to happen as you run this process is you start to evolve your mindset out of, I'm the person that has to do everything because I can't trust other people, because I'm a control freak, because nobody else can do it as good as me, because I don't have time to hire, I don't have money to hire, all of these bullshit limiting beliefs. Those are 5 off the top of my head that like everybody always starts to have those gremlins come up. Just because as human beings, like everything I just described is like business strategy, right? But like let's get to the real talk of it. Is we're used to doing things how we've always done them because we find familiarity in it, even if it's fucking miserable. Even if like in those moments we're like, God, I don't know how this scales, I burn out, I don't love it, and I have to go to these events and I have to sell all my friends because I don't know how to fucking run an ad and sell strangers. So I can't just relax and let my guard down as a purpose coach in 2017. And I fucking hated it. Because that was the situation I put myself in. Because every time I was constantly selling, like, but relax, I can relax in community. Because I didn't know how to fucking market. So I learned how to market to be a better friend. So that I didn't have to fucking pimp all my friends out and try to buy out which is the paradox of it. Because everybody like doesn't do all of the digital stuff and the automation stuff because they want to be more present. They want to just be like conscious. And but opposite happens. You don't take full responsibility for selling to strangers. You have to sell to your friends. So that's something I'm obviously really passionate about. As you do this Upwork talent search, Upwork.com, if you don't know, it's just a talent marketplace out there. And you will have your mind fucking blown by how inexpensive. You can do it on your phone right now. Go to Upwork and just type in like funnel builder or like automation specialist or webinar expert or CRM automations guy or account manager or whatever it is that you're doing, or even marketing manager or even marketing director. Like as you continue going up, it's just mind-blowing how you can buy back your time. And if you're only generating 100K top line revenue and you're working like full time on your business to do this, it will blow your mind how much you can get for less than $50 an hour. We pay. Go ahead. I think say what you're thinking.
Well, yeah, we have a social media
Yeah, this is
manager
crazy.
that's like, we do 3 posts a week and it's like $20 plus a $20 fee. Basically, we have an AI, like 100 posts that we created like in less than a day, and then basically they just, and all the posts, pictures and everything are on our Google Drive, and we just say, here's the Google Drive with photos, here's the post we want to do, and then create all the graphics and the posts on our Go High level and everything. We just do that every week.
Yeah.
Do you trust the AI content without going to review each one of them, or do you just have such good prompts that you feel like I don't have to look at it?
Really good prompts, but also you review.
Yeah, we always have a human review right before it goes live.
The caption. Yeah, it has the caption. There's the hook. Like you can train a GPT to do the hooks, the caption, the way that you want it. Make sure that it's like all of the things that are like, I don't know. We use Mastermind business systems to like frame the
The Dean
content.
Graziosi process. Is
Yeah.
awesome, so,
And then the call to action as well at the end. And then we have our assistant do the mini chats, which automatically responds to all the comments
yeah.
when they have that call to action. So even when somebody joins our Instagram or follows our Instagram, they get an automatic message for our masterclass.
Is it generating the images too, or is it using different?
That's on our. We're generating. We have our images on our Google Drive. But yeah, they could do that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, for clarity there, we have a folder, a Google Drive folder full of a bunch of images to use that aren't like what actually get posted. And we share that image drive with our person in Bangladesh who's really, really good at it. She's the graphics engineer that actually turns it into like the banner above the image and like the graphic overlay and the words over the picture and make it look like something that's like, wow.
She creates all the final posts, puts it on, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've got somebody really well, but can you talk about like, how do you streamline the process? Because finding the right person and vetting and going through a few cycles with Upwork people have been a very good time. So I agree. Once you found that person and it works, it's great. But how do you minimize the effort in finding the right person?
Good question. Yeah.
I I can share on that just because
Kelly hired that.
that was kind of my job, and it's like I think what you do is when you create systems that are
Yeah.
good enough, you can hire somebody that kind of sucks or doesn't have a lot of like you obviously can look at their past experience, like just some of the graphics they've done, and judge them by that. But then if you give them the proper systems and the proper training, like you can have somebody that's $4 an hour.
I think that was the light bulb when you said that, because when you said, oh, they're just following my defined process versus like, oh yeah, I want to hire you to do this, and then having them figure out how to do this doesn't always work out. You know, you've got to tell them step 1, 2, 3, 10. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, having the system, right?
Yeah, and you could even have AI create this like crazy prompts or the instructions for the social media person to do too.
Is that for just organic or paid ads as well?
That's organic, but you could do paid ads. Well, yeah, we hired a team to manage the paid ads as well. So yeah, you can find somebody for any of those things.
One thing I do is take my webinar transcripts and then put that into a AI, and then tell it to pull my exact phrases to produce stuff, so it's more authentically me.
I like that.
And I tell it not to use that stupid dash.
Dash,
And
dash.
don't do contrast phrasing. It's not this, it's
that.
that. Why do they always do that?
It's so crazy.
And there's a couple more things, so it's less AI.
Double dash.
The double dash, yeah. That's what it's called, the double dash?
It's just that. I don't
The
know.
long dash?
EM.
There's a name for it. And sometimes you gotta, I told you not to use the damn double dash. It's like,
And they're like, okay, dash, dash.
the
You know,
dash.
then it replies, next time I won't use that, and then it puts it again. I'm
It
like, I just
does.
told you
In
not
that
to do
same
it.
exact sentence.
And then it's like, I'll stop doing it. And it does it
Sometimes I
again.
say, if you don't get this right, I'm gonna start using Grok. I'm serious. I don't know if that has an added layer, like, we don't wanna let Sam Altman down, we gotta do it right. Feels good
That's
though.
hilarious. That's hilarious. So, I just wrote a phrase that might be helpful. Do it amazing once. So whatever, all of these processes in your business, you are the one that can do it awesome. The problem is you're doing everything yourself awesome. You're a unicorn in your business because you're great at everything. You know, you may not be great at the mechanics of systematizing everything right away, but you're great at being the one talking to the customer at every stage of the process. So do it amazing once, describe what excellence looks like, and then manage the process of them fulfilling on the excellence. So that's like a framework to think about. And you can also have AI help you create the description of what excellence looks like, because why not leverage superintelligence to define process? So one last kind of big idea that I want to write here in red. Don't hire to grow your business. Hire to buy back your time. So that might sound like paradox, but what I mean by that is if you hire to grow your business, then you're actually a little bit in kind of like a victimish mode. Like, I don't know how to do this. Like all of the, you know, you're a guy offering an offer on a sales call, and you don't know how to do any of this. So you're like, I don't know, Upwork guy that says something about sales funnel, do all of this for me. And like, the reality is, all of the granularity of what you're asking him to do is infinitely complicated, and it's actually your responsibility to define the strategic direction of the business, to pick one of these webinars on a landing page. Pick one of these to start with. Okay, we're gonna really nail organic social media, or we're gonna really nail pay-per-click ads, or we're gonna really work really hard to do both at the same time. But you never wanna do all of them at once, and then we're gonna do this pre-production, production, post-production process designed for whichever platform we're doing this on, one at a time, right? So this process is going to be platform specific. So if you're creating YouTube content, the length, the style, the shape of the video, all that stuff is gonna be unique compared to Instagram content. And you can create post-production a little bit and share it on different platforms. But as you're starting, you want to kind of think about one platform at a time. So that's why I say, this comes from Dan Martell, if you haven't heard his work, it's really great. He wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time. If you don't hire to grow your business because you accidentally put yourself in a not a strategic leader position. Remember, as a CEO and founder, your job is to be a strategic leader. Just to like fucking know what's going on, what the direction of the business is, who's the customer, how you're selling them, where the market is going over the next 12 to 18 months, and how you're going to lead the organization in that direction. If you want that job, or if you just want to be somebody that is just doing the thing, then consider joining another organization where there's another leader that is doing something similar, and you can just stay fulfilling. You can always have a job fulfilling the thing you're doing because you've proven that there's a market for it by selling that offering. But if you actually want to grow your business, like what it actually takes is to sit in the leadership strategic position and look ahead at where things are going and decide on the pathways and the marketing strategy ultimately to get there. So if you don't hire to grow your business, you hire to buy back your time. Then if you're focused on buying back your time, what you're doing right now, you buy it back, you create space in your calendar because you have other people following these systems that you told them how to do. And then you have space in your calendar to then have that strategic conversation with yourself. Around, okay, we're gonna do this, give a free session to people, right? Okay, and as I give this many free sessions, I'm gonna track my conversion rate on all those sessions. And eventually, when I sell X number of $1,200 packages via these free sessions, then I will be in a place to train somebody else to start handling some part of delivery. One thing to keep in mind is as you're buying back your time, you want to buy back customer delivery first. So pieces of this puzzle, again, I mentioned that this is all fulfillment, this is all acquisition. So everything that happens after they give you money and you turn the handshake into a happy person, all of this stuff, there's components of the fulfillment that doesn't need to all be you. Like maybe the intake conversation you have with them, maybe the getting all of their information in some other way. Every business is different. But if you can get to a certain revenue amount on the front end, plan this out. When I have so many people here, then on the back end, I can afford to have a person to take this $7 an hour task that I have to do for every client off my hands, so that then I can have the bandwidth to have more clients, so that then I can have the bandwidth I could have the cash to reinvest in people doing these things the right way. And the reality is, it's a bit of a juggle as you continue taking on more pieces of the puzzle. And that's why we built the software, growthmastery.ai. It's, we believe, the world's first talk-to-launch webinar funnel generation system, where you have a conversation with an AI. The transcript informs the copy and the hosting of the landing page, the watch room, the webinar script, and the sales, the enrollment page, and all of your follow-up emails. So that whatever you're selling in any industry, you can quickly go to market and have an automated solution that is selling for you.
It sends the emails?
We're in the process of adding that feature set on, yeah.
It has the opt-in page?
Yeah. Landing page, takes in the email, CRM agnostic, keep whatever CRM you're using. We'll send webhooks to your CRM that you can follow up however you want. We're working towards getting sales pages, purchase pages. So we could easily do sales calls where you just have present the offer on this page, click this button, and then it goes to whatever form that you use to book Calendly links or whatever you do to get people on your sales page. But the direct purchase page, where we're headed, and kind of our vision over the next 12 to 18 months, is to be a solution where every entrepreneur, as let's face it, all jobs are going away very slowly, as robots start to hit, even all of the physical labor jobs are going to start to go away. We're going to be in a situation where very soon 2 billion people are going to be out of work, and the only job left is going to be entrepreneurship. Finding gaps in the marketplace where we can offer our unique genius to the world, which is why I put genius in the title of this talk, and leveraging AI to bring your uniqueness to market in a way that other humans want to interact with. Because we're not going to do what robots can do better than what robots can do it, because they're powered by infinite superintelligence, but we can connect with humans better than humans' preference to connect with a robot, right? So it's all about, like, the entire rest of the 21st century is going to be all about how other people best value your time. Like, what do you do with other people when they are most getting a sense that it was worth them spending that time with you? If you double down on that consistently over and over and over again, you'll continuously put yourself in a really good place as time goes on, and as automation eats up and spits out a new version of the economy, of the global economy that none of us can predict. You'll be in a good spot, because what will always happen is humans will want to connect with humans. And humans won't want to do all the bullshit that we're accustomed to doing, so there's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be automated out. It'll be really, really interesting to watch. But as you do all of this and leverage as much automation as possible, you'll be in a situation where you are using the automation to deliver your genius at scale. And obviously, there's a lot more here that I can't get into entirely right now. How are we doing on time? 34? 34. Okay, I gotta wrap up. Kelly's gonna go next year. But yeah, I meet weekly with entrepreneurs in the Growth Mastery community. We have our software. Check it out at growthmastery.ai. You can apply and set up a call and we can chat about it.
Where are you located?
What's that?
Where are you based?
In Austin. Onion Creek, South Austin. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, was there one more idea that I was gonna say? Yeah, I guess if there's one last piece that I wanted to share with you is don't sleep on this window of opportunity you have right now. So AI right now is like there's a gap in a lot of people who are paying attention to it. Even though there's a lot of hype, you're probably getting ads about it or whatever. There's still such a deficit of people that are taking advantage of it. And especially as like healers and people here to help, as everybody loses their jobs, it's going to be a fucking crisis of meaning. It's going to be a really, really confusing time. And they're going to need all of you guys to really be in a place to step up and be a solution and to be able to help. And if you're bottlenecked because you have to get on only 8 sales calls a week and beyond that you burn out, you're not going to be able to help them. And like from a business perspective, you won't get that revenue. But like from a spiritual soul perspective, you know, you'll be missing out on your purpose, your opportunity to help, to impact, to serve. So I see it as my spiritual duty to leverage as much as I could possibly fucking leverage to reach as many people as possible with the highest leverage offer that I could possibly generate for my clients. So that's, I guess, everything that I wanted to impart upon you guys. We could chat for a few minutes here while Kelly sets up. But yeah, any last questions here? Thanks, guys.